Okay, we're back again with a Let's Talk More Wwe 14, also known as Wwe 2K14. This is 101 as always, and in this particular episode, it's actually the one I've been most looking forward to speaking to you guys about, and it's about Universe Mode in the upcoming game. Now, a lot of you guys know that on my channel, I love doing Universe Mode, and it's probably my most popular series, and it's a series that's kind of close to my heart in terms of in WWE games. It's a mode I hope WWE games keep in the upcoming game, and if they do decide to keep Universe Mode in, I'm going to list some changes and improvements that I feel would make the Universe Mode a bit better. First off, and this is a simple one, more championships per show. Currently on Wwe 13 and back on the other games as well, you can only have one world title, one minor title, a tag title and also a Divas title. And I think it would be better if they let us decide the amount of belts we have on the show, or at least if they can give us one more slot for a minor title, then that would be much better, and I'm sure a lot of us would greatly appreciate that. Second of all, the commentators. Now this one is one that really bothers me, even though it's not a particularly big deal, but I do think it would be much better if we were able to choose the commentators that we have at ringside. I think it would be kind of cool that if we disable the commentary, like I do in my Universe Mode videos, then there either shouldn't be Michael Cole and King at ringside, so it will be empty, or maybe just let us choose a couple of default figures that could be sitting at ringside if there has to be. Third on my list, the referee. Now on Wwe 13 and even the previous games before that, we're stuck with Charles Robinson every single match. So the next request is a simple one. I think it would be much better if we had a few different referees to choose from. You know, maybe let us change their default referee gear as well. I know you can kind of do this via a special guest referee in Wwe 13, and if you follow my Universe Mode then you will know that's what I do on my different shows. Kind of like you're seeing now on the screen, but I just think overall it would make it a lot easier and a lot better if WWE games added in the option to change the default referee. And I think this would really help Universe Mode in particular, because when you have these different shows, having a different referee or having the referee in different attires like I do on my Universe Mode really helps each brand feel a little bit different. Another thing on my list of improvements that I want to see in Wwe 14 Universe Mode, and this is kind of a big one, arguably the most important change that I want to see, is the cutscenes. Now a lot of people, and myself included, were unhappy about the amount of cutscenes this year that we tend to see. For example, if you change the match cards on each show, that generally limits and lessens the cutscenes that you're likely to see on each show. And now if Universe Mode set good matches by default and good feuds, then we wouldn't need to be changing the match cards, but from my personal experience on Wwe 13, the default matches generally aren't anything particularly good. So if you want to have a good match, then more than likely you've got to end up changing the people in it to make it kind of bearable. So obviously by doing that, that's limiting the cutscenes you're going to be able to see. I mean, I managed to get around that in my Universe Mode videos, as a lot of you already know, because with my Universe Mode, I tend to put a lot of story creator scenes in there. So whilst that change wouldn't necessarily affect my Universe Mode very much, as a general casual player of WWE games, I think having extra cutscenes and having the ability to have better matches which create better cutscenes will be much better for a casual gamer. If you look on my screen about now, you're going to be seeing a series of cutscenes that I've edited together for my recent edition of my Universe Mode, and I think if Wwe 14 implemented something similar that enabled multiple cutscenes to be mashed together as one big cutscene that happens naturally within Universe Mode, then that would also be a really nice change and addition to the Wwe 14 or Wwe 2K14 Universe Mode, because it would just make some really awesome moments such as this one. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that is something we're going to be able to see. So generally speaking, within Universe Mode, in terms of cutscenes improvement, I would definitely like to see cutscenes happen more often, have them be more realistic and diverse, so we're not seeing the same handful of cutscenes over and over again. Not to mention, obviously I would like to see some brand new cutscenes that we've never seen in WWE games before. And oh yeah, another small thing in regards to cutscenes, for some reason on Wwe 13 they decided to take away the fireworks cutscene in the show opening. I'm not quite sure why they did that, because we had that in previous games, but for Wwe 2K14 I would definitely like to see the fireworks at the start of the show come back into the game. Another addition I would like to see would be for the computer to generate some promos. Again, just like I do on my universe mode, I make promos to add into the storylines of my videos, but I would actually like if something along these lines would be happening naturally within the game, even if it was just something very basic and generic, just something like setting up the main event of the show, like maybe the GM coming out and then setting the main event, or even someone like a challenger coming out and then demanding a title shot, or something like that. You know, nothing too in depth, something very generic, something very simple to do. I think that something small like that would really add to the universe mode and just kind of make it a bit better in general. And promos leads on to my next little idea. I don't know how many of you guys played the old SmackDown games, but if you remember back now to some of the really old ones, when you did create a pay-per-view and modes like that, the main feud going into that pay-per-view had some kind of little mini build-up promo that you see when you first click onto the event. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's normally a couple of superstars kind of going back and forth. Something very simple. I mean, if we saw that going back, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, then, you know, there's no reason really why we can't have something similar in the next game. Probably not describe that all too well, but hopefully by the time this video is being edited, I'm going to be able to go back and find the cutscene that I'm talking about. And I'll stick it on my screen now, so you guys aren't really following, get the idea of what I mean. I think adding something like this would really make the universe mode pay-per-views feel a lot more special and a lot more unique. Now, even though this is a universe mode wishlist video, a lot of people have been requesting that we see General Manager mode back. And guys, even though I've been doing GM 2007 on my channel recently, if it was a case of WWE games picking to keep either universe mode or bringing GM mode back, then personally speaking, I would much rather they keep universe mode. But if they did keep universe mode at the expense of GM mode, I would definitely like to see some of the features from GM mode come across into universe mode. By incorporating some of the stuff from General Manager mode into universe mode, then I think personally that will be a happy middle ground and keep both fans of universe and GM mode very happy. Some simple things that I'm talking about would be on your matches in your universe mode shows, you would get some star ratings and maybe see how popular each show is compared to the other in terms of fans being watched and stuff like that. As having some kind of battle between the brands like on GM mode, where you're fighting over popularity, you know, sometimes taking fans from the other show and vice versa. Just stuff like that, some little stuff would really make universe mode that much more in depth and a lot better in general. Another thing that I would like to see come over from GM mode into universe mode, which is probably a little bit more harder to do, not quite as simple as the other few ideas I mentioned previously, but coming over from GM mode to universe mode, I would definitely like to see the ability for us as the players to decide the upcoming feuds and storylines actually in our universe mode. So for example, we could go for a list of feuds just like on GM mode, and you can pick the superstars that you want to see in that feud. You can decide how long you want the feud to last and then roughly what happens in the meantime. Or even after you set the initial feud up, the game naturally generates some of the cutscenes, so you're not exactly picking the storyline week by week, but you're just picking the kind of storyline in general, and then the computer would generate the cutscenes and the week by week storylines, and then as the player you would simply watch it play out. So like I said, that's kind of maybe a bit more in depth, a bit more harder for them to incorporate into universe mode, but still, if that was possible, I think that would be really cool. There's also probably some other features from GM mode that could be added in too, but those are the few off the top of my head that I would particularly like to see put in the game. And I think we're going to be leaving it there for now, guys. I've kind of rambled on enough, so if there is anything that you want to see in universe mode in WWE 2K14 that I've missed out, then you guys can feel free to put your ideas and suggestions and requests that you want to see in universe mode down in the comment section below. And if you guys come up with some really good suggestions, then I can always make a universe mode part 2 video and we can kind of touch base on them on that one. Also guys, don't forget to let me know what you thought of my particular ideas in this video, and if you want to see any of those ideas put into universe mode in WWE 2K14. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please support this video and my channel in general by leaving the video a big thumbs up and also some comments in the comment section below. And don't forget, if you haven't already, then please feel free to subscribe. But guys, until next time, this has been 101. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you all on the next one.